One of the first aviation events I did onboard cameras for was the Fort Lauderdale Airshow in 2000. And that was when I was working for CPN Productions. The show itself was filmed around the end of May, and then it was packaged for ESPN2 for 4th of July. So it was a big deal. It was very popular at the time. And they were featuring the F-15 demo team, which was piloted by John York. Great guy, I got to know him real well. And so leading up to that, the Tampa Bay Air Show at MacDill Air Force Base was 2 weeks before the Fort Lauderdale Air Sea Show. So it gave us a chance to figure out how we were going to do camera mounts, how things were going to work, because I had never put a camera in an F-15 and only a little bit of aviation. So I met him and his crew chief and John and Peggy, John York and his crew chiefs, John and Peggy, and we set about trying to figure out how to put all this in, because remember, it's a big case. The camera case with all the telemetry, battery, and camera control unit and everything is about this big. So there's not a lot of room in an F-15 to put something that big. But we figured out a place, got the camera over his shoulder, and got some beautiful shots, and everything is looking good. So 2 weeks later, plan is to meet him at the Fort Lauderdale Air Sea Show, and we're going to film for 2 days, and he's going to be the featured act for the production. So it was a big deal. So we get there, and Friday is the first day, is a test day, but this is our first chance to get footage of the demo over the ocean where it was going to happen. And John, being a brand new demo pilot, this is the first time he's flying in front of his family. All of his family's there, mom and dad, brothers and sisters. Everybody was out there to see John fly the F-15. So we get the camera rigged. He takes off to fly his demo, and it's about 15 minutes out, and we're sitting eating lunch, and I'm with the crew chief, John Howerton, and there's an emergency call over the PA, and it's the F-15. It's declared an emergency. And I looked at John, I said, could my camera system have caused this? He goes, it's possible, but I doubt it. It's probably just some avionics glitch or something, and he's declared an emergency, so he's coming back. So came back, landed, and sure enough, it was a problem with that, but because of the tightness of the schedule, they scrubbed him from the schedule. Now, we were able to get the camera re-rigged in the backup jet so he could fly that day, but the air boss had called him and said, no, I don't have time for you in the schedule, you're out. Well, we all know the importance of this. Like I say, this is the featured act in the ESPN show, so I called the producer, and I said, we're not going to get any video of the F-15 unless you get him back in the lineup. 15 minutes later, John gets a call from the air boss. He's back in. He's going to be second to last act for the day, just in front of the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels. I don't remember which one it was, but he's going to fly. And he turned, he looked at me, he says, you got connections. I said, hey, I want you to fly just as much as you do. So from that day, we really cemented a great relationship. He became a good friend, and to this day, we still stay in contact. He's the guy that put me in touch with some very, very influential aviation people that led to my career really, really growing in aviation video. So thanks to John and his crew, John and Peggy. Unfortunately, John Howard has passed away since then, an awesome guy. But Peggy's still out there, and I communicate with her. Great people, great Americans, great patriots. And I thank them for the opportunity, because I will say this. Peggy says, hey, you ought to join ICAS. And at the time, I had no idea what ICAS was. Well, that's the International Council of Air Shows. So she's the one that suggested I join ICAS, which again was another influential move in my aviation video career. So thank you, Peggy, for that.